to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty. Hello everybody, this is Quirk Show here. Now, I know this episode's, coming out literally at 1:30. So, let me just say this is going to be another filler episode because if I do this later on in the series, it basically will not have time to make sense. Basically, this is going to be Deku explaining more about the ability he has now, along with other things. So we have another filler episode before the Stain attack. And I do remember saying one thing in the series before, or prior, in certain parts about one thing, and I do want to actually slip it into the series, but I won't say what it is. Now, with that being said, I will slip it in later, and I actually somewhat have it planned out. Now, let us begin. All Might would award Deku first place. He would congratulate him but say that the way he was acting in the finals, he was able to predict Toga's moves. That's very impressive even for, being a student. In fact, you will make a great pro one day. Except you did essentially lose your vision. Or you were blinded. And you went a little ballistic trying to take her down. So, I want to ask you, are you hungry right now? No, actually. I'm good. Okay. Just making sure. You don't want me to lose control, I understand. Okay. Sorry about that, though. Young Toga, you have done quite well, in fact, and actually proved that not only do people with weird quirks, not only do they have the potential to be strong and actually top tier, but you've also proven that quirks like yours aren't actually heinous or villainous. It's depending on the person. Along with your versatility, that is quite impressive. Young Momo, sadly, you are not the best, but you are among the best. So I will grant you, actually, I do want to say, not Momo. Shit, who was it? Would it be the wind guy, or would it be Bakugo? Okay, I'm not even going to try and figure out who that would actually be. Now, that would go on. Now, the filler part of the episode. I want to say that there's no official timeline for anything that happens in My Hero Academia. Deku literally had time for his wounds to heal from the, sports festival to his internship. Along with the fact that he actually shattered the bones in his arms and had surgery on it, and it was able to heal. That takes months, but with Recovery Girl's quirk, she can slim it down to weeks. I want to say it would be 2 weeks, but knowing Deku or Recovery Girl, she would have had him come in twice, slipping it down to a week or a couple of days. So for the sake of it, the sports festival would have happened on a weekend, so as to have an entire day for the events and setting up. With that, this would basically give them time to break things down and get things back and ready for the school week the next couple days. Now, let us cut to, I do believe in, actually, yes, okay. Let us cut to the next, Thursday or Friday. They are going to be told by Aizawa to come into school as they are going to be picking their internships. They will be picking them on a Saturday as to get time for paperwork and things to get all sorted out for who's going where. Now, with that being said, They would be chilling out and hanging out on a Friday night. Deku and Toga and Todoroki and Momo. They're all hanging out, actually watching a movie, as Deku, he would just realize that he's actually out of popcorn. Now, he would just tell Toga that he's going to go make more, as Toga would just tell him okay. Now, Deku, he has been getting bleh. Deku, he's going to be making the popcorn now. Let's make a little bit of a jump backwards directly after the sports festival. Deku would be explaining his new ability to his parents, saying he's pretty sure he just unlocked telepathy, or a form of invasion of the mind. Now, Deku's not actually sure what this is. Inko is actually confused along with Hisashi. Brain? What? You can't brainwash people, can you? Like that one boy? No, I don't think so. So you're just only to hear the thoughts? Yeah, is that bad? No, have you been biting into people again, or? No, Dad, no, it's nothing like that. Okay, this is somewhat awkward then. What do you mean? Well, I think that over the. Well, gonna have to learn one day or another. Learn what? As Inko just gone saying, our families were bred to be heroes. Bred? Yes, we're selected, arranged into marriages, and then have children. Basically, someone like Endeavor did. What? Yeah. It's a bit weird knowing that, but we were going to tell you when you were older. My parents before them, well, my parents, their parents before them, and so on and so on, back to the first Quirk holders. They began selecting marriages. In fact, they did so because they wanted to try and have the best type of offspring, the most powerful offspring. In doing that, I'm pretty sure we have an ancestor with a quirk like that, but this is very weird. What do you mean? Well, I think these genes are dormant in your body, but the blood you've been eating, or whenever you drank her blood, your. I don't even know the best scientific way to explain it. Piggybacking off of her own into your own DNA? That. Or you're probably just unlocking new abilities. Your quirk is having potential to grow, still. So. So you're telling me I'm gonna possibly gain a lot of vampire abilities? Well, you already do have that man-bat mode. Man-bat? Well, yeah, that man-sized bat. Is that silly? No, actually, it's kinda clever. Uh, anyways, let us cut back to the next week. Deku, he's done making the popcorn as he's pouring it into a bowl, and he would pour into another bowl next to him. As he immediately goes to reach out, he would grab the salt, put it into one bowl, put it into the next, and then he would grab a blood bag from the fridge. As soon as he grabs it, he actually does turn as he looks into the living room at the movie. He's somewhat happy about this as he does turn back as he's looking at his hand. He's actually in shock as you just hear a loud clatter from the kitchen. Toga immediately jumps up along with Todoroki and Momo, and they would walk in and see Deku just staring at his hand. As Deku's hand is somewhat sharpened into claws, but not like this. Imagine these on the back of Deku's wrist, somewhat forming like these. They're forming like those, and he actually does have sharpened vampire-like claws, along with the fact that his skin is somewhat more muscly and devoid of pigmentation. Now, with that, hang on. Alright, sorry about that, guys. For some reason, I thought I was going to be interrupted at 1 in the morning. Alright. Anyways, let us continue. Deku, he's just staring at this, and this is whenever Todoroki would speak up. Midoriya? As Deku turns his head, he would just look at Todoroki. Todoroki sees the shock on his face as he's just saying he doesn't know. I did what? Okay, Midoriya, calm down, baby. Okay? It's gonna be okay. As Togo walk forward. Now, Deku, he just turns his head away as he tells her to stop. Stop. Don't come any closer, please. Okay, it's gonna be fine. As Deku would just immediately turn his head, she would just see his eyes as Deku's forcing his face, well, basically forcing his other hand into his jaw, forcing his mouth closed. As he actually does try bringing his fingers up, grabbing to where his nose is. Basically trying to stop him from opening his mouth. Now, Deku is doing this as Toga, she's immediately in shock. She would just immediately just run into the next room, getting Deku's mom. She would just immediately run in, as she does have a firearm ready. She's looking at Deku, and he's just staring back at her as she's intrigued by this. What the Okay. I'll make a call to Recovery Girl and a Quirk doctor. In the meantime, as she would just immediately cock her pistol and shoot it at Deku. Everyone's in shock as Deku would fall to the ground with a tranquilizer dart in his neck. Now, they're just asking exactly what that is, and she would just say, these are basically what you would put in to trank an elephant. You think that's a bit excessive? Well, considering that they're the only thing that can put me down, no. Okay, fair enough. Now, he should only be out for about 15 minutes, I believe. So, this is gonna be a minute. But, question. Before I make a call, what happened to him? We don't know. He just went into the kitchen and we heard the microwave. He opened the fridge and then, as she would just immediately open the fridge, saying and counting the blood bags. Immediately just bringing up a board and checking to see if Deku took one. He took out one blood bag and wrote it down. Okay, so where's the bag at? As they're looking around, they actually see that it's wrapped in Deku's hand. Now, this is whenever Inko would just make a call, and Recover Girl is still at UA. Doing paperwork a bit late, but still. Now, she would basically be told about Deku's condition as he would go to a hospital and meet up with Recover Girl and another Quirk doctor. Getting explanations as Deku would just suddenly jolt awake. What? Oh, what the hell? Sorry about that. But from what I heard, you were able to control yourself at least. What do you mean? Well, Toga said that the way your eyes were whenever you bare your fangs. But you forced your mouth closed. So you do have control. Control? Control over what? The other you. Other me? Well, the uncontrollable urge. The primal feelings you have. Primal? That's basically the instinct to eat, feed, sleep, and possibly other things. Possibly hunting, killing, eating. Fundamentals of any living creature. A safe space to hide, or whatever you can. Necessities for survival. Now, she's going over this as the doctor would immediately just pluck a needle into Deku's arm, asking if, well, this has happened before. They would explain the full transformation as the doctor would do extensive research on what he can about Deku's previous blood samples to what they are now, along with current and past updates before. The last time he had his quirk checked out, his blood was vulnerable to sunlight and UV rays. This time, however, they can tell it is not, and that was already updated in his quirk file. But it also seems that his quirk has mutated a little bit. A little? Well, yes, you're carrying a bit more vampire DNA, well, Dracula or bat DNA than before. How much from before? Well, I can tell from whenever you do consume blood, it will rapidly increase and decrease over time. But I have a question. When was the last time you fed on a live person? I don't do that. Oh, well, that would explain this then. What do you mean? Well, fascinating. What do you mean? Well, from a couple months ago during the back during this USJ attack, or whenever that happened against UA, these vampire-like features seem to be more present. However, now they seem to be very rapid. They were constantly there, but this time they're just bouncing up and down. So, what does that mean? Well, hard to explain actually, but the best guess I can give is, well, you might actually not like it. You might actually need to have fresher blood bags. I'm sorry? Well, it's either that or live feed. I am not feeding on another person. Young man, I did not say feed on them exactly. There's other ways to do so. Freshly squeezed blood, for example. I'm still not doing that. Well, it's the only way I could see to get this under control. Here. He would just immediately just hold up his wrist and put a needle or a syringe into it, pulling out a little bit of blood. Putting it into a petri dish and telling Deku to at least give him a little bit of medical curiosity. Deku would just stare at this for a second as he would just close his eyes, saying no. The doctor would just say he's allowing him to do so, along with the fact that he wants to see if this spike happens again. Deku would just say okay as he takes it and actually licks the dish, immediately just as his eyes would widen and his eyes do glow a lighter shade of red. The doctor would immediately notice his changes as soon as they happen, and immediately just ask Deku if he can give it a minute. The doctor would see as Deku, he actually is scanning the room a bit more as he is just saying, wow. So, what is going on? I'm sorry? I can hear everyone in the building. I can hear their thoughts clear as day. Is this normal for him? He's been developing new abilities. How so? He developed telepathy, apparently. Oh, that's an old one from vampire novels. I'm sorry? Well, I believe it was somewhere in 1920, 29. There was a vampire who would use the words of his victims in their heads to manipulate their thoughts even more. Basically telling them what they're actually thinking and then telling them how they feel, or how they truly feel is what he says. Now, that being said, he would then take a blood sample from Deku and immediately see the changes, as he would pour the newer blood sample into the scope, watching it as he would then do the same thing, except he would try mixing Deku's newer blood with his, well, other blood sample. He would do so as he would notice that these blood cells are actually attacking the other ones and forcing them in a hostile takeover. This immediately intrigues him, as he would then look back, and he would actually see as Deku just staring down at his hand again. This time the change is more prevalent, but it's not that giant bat-like feature that runs along his entire forearm, it's just his hand. His hand is more spiked and a little bit bigger, as you can notice that there's claws and actual, well, layers of skin covering his fingers. Along with the fact that his finger is bent out a bit more, showing that he should be growing a wing. If not, he is somewhat acting like an actual bat. Fascinating. What is going on? Well, I believe experiencing fresh blood for the first time massively increased your abilities to the point where they, well, completely awakened. Wait, completely? Well, yes. It appears that well, it appears that your actual quirk might be something different from what we thought. These abilities seem to be more akin to an actual vampire. Along with the fact that since you've never live fed, that does explain why you've been getting stronger. Miss Midoriya. Yes, Doctor? What would happen if you were to live feed? I'm, uh, sorry. A little bit too curious. Have either of you live fed before? No, me and Hasashi have not. In fact, we've been doing what we've been trying to do for Deku for quite a while, but apparently that's about to change. As this would be going on, let us cut to, well, okay, well, I do need to actually I can slip in one more thing, actually. They would actually be walking home, as Inko would actually just tell Deku that she's gonna do a bit of hero work to try and clear her mind, but just do try and, well, you know, stay under control. No. As that's happening, everyone would split up, and Toga would actually just drag Deku back to this house to finish the movie. They'd be doing so as Deku and Toga are actually cuddling, and Toga would just bring up one thing. You know, it's kind of weird though that your quirk's doing this. Oh, well, kinda, but the doctor said I might actually have to start live feeding. Oh, really? That's sort of bad, right? Well, yeah, but he says I don't really have to bite directly into someone's neck. Oh, well, that's at least good then. It's kind of a bit more lethal with the artery. Yeah, that's not the fun part. Fun part? Well, you know what I mean, right? No, actually, just keep going. Well, getting the blood is. I don't know how. This is gonna sound creepy. I'm still waiting. Getting blood is nice, but just. It's odd to look it out of a petri dish. So I feel like if I got it directly from the source, or from like a needle, then it still feels wrong. But I've actually been having that dream recently. The man bat one? Yeah, somewhat vividly. I just remember a loud, audible scream. That was probably Jiro. She used sound waves to take you down. Oh, that explains the ringing. But I do remember the taste. As Toga would just immediately bring her hand up, showing Deku the little scar she left on her wrist, as the 4 dots have actually healed. Oh, you're okay though. Yeah, but question. As she would just immediately turn around, somewhat kissing Deku and actually biting into his lip, as she would copy his quirk. Oh, what the hell was that for? Payback. Oh, really? As Deku would tackle her down and they would begin a very weird makeout session. I would want to say something about it, but it's gonna be very weird. So I'll just leave it at that. Now, that is where I'm gonna be leaving this episode off, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. And for those of you who stuck around, this is gonna be a filler episode, along with explaining those whole things. Since I can say it now that I'm at the end, Deku is going to be learning more about his abilities, along with the fact that he may be introduced to live feeding, or at least have to carry what Toga uses as a support item. Now, that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.